Hey, what's up, guys? Tony here, and welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Tony. And in this episode, what I want to talk about is shooting for the stars. Now, this commentary is a day late, and well, actually, it's probably like weeks late and a day. But it's also inspired by an article that I read recently. And in that article, basically what it said is that we no longer encourage our kids to pursue their dreams. That's really what the crux of the article was about. And it talked about, professional sports and actors and musicians and artists. And it centered around this idea that what happens is nowadays, and it's probably been going on for a while, because I could definitely relate to this, but kids might go, oh, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a professional baseball player. I was like, I'm going to be a professional baseball player. And my parents were like, well, it's really hard and not a lot of people get into it, so you might not want to really go that route. I was like, oh, okay, fine. But I still, in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm going to be a professional baseball player. That's what I want to do. And then as I got older, those seeds were planted in my head. And, I played baseball all throughout, my childhood, through high school. And I still play, for the most part, not recently in the last couple of years, but I still play baseball. But, I gave up on this idea that I would be a professional baseball player a long time ago. I'd switch gears to art. I really liked drawing and comic books, and I was creating comic books and stuff. And I kind of was like, yeah, I want to be a comic book artist. That would be cool. That would be a really cool job. A very creative job, and the job that I'd like. And I got encouragement for that, but it was never like, yeah, go do that, really. It was just sort of like, oh, this is something that Tony's going through. And the article echoed sort of the things that I had in when I was younger, the things I saw, the things I felt when I was younger, because parents today are telling their kids, who might be, interested in music, they want to be professional musicians. Their parents are saying that, well, that's not really a good job. It's not a job to make a lot of money. It's not a job that's stable. You want to find a stable job. You want to find a job that's going to make you enough money to survive. And it's basically killing the arts. Okay. Like, people are less and less creative. At least that's what the article says. Now, I have a hard time believing that, because here on YouTube, you see the most creative people. YouTube is a place where you can create a video, or you can do artwork. There's a lot of those speed artwork things. So even though here I am talking about how there's this idea that parents are stamping out creativity, and basically the article also goes to say is that it's their parents are stamping out creativity, and because of this disinterest in the arts, funding in the school systems is starting to, when they're making their budget cuts, they're cutting the funding from the arts, the musics, the dramas, the choirs, the art classes, the photography classes, I might have said music classes already. So there's just this trend that, okay, well, music and the arts are not as important as math, science, history, biology, English, foreign languages. Those are the crux of knowledge now. The arts are just they're a waste of money. That's sort of the impression that the article conveyed, and to a certain extent, I believe it too, because it just seems like in the school system, arts aren't as important as these other, I don't want to say traditional, because art goes back millennia. Cavemen were drawing on cave walls before they were writing written words. So art is huge. It's just in our nature. So I see that. I see this reduction in the arts, and I see this sort of discouragement of parents, or discouragement to the children by their parents to go into the arts. But the thing is, though, is that we need the arts. I feel like we need the arts. We need people to become the next musicians, to become the next Picassos, to writing. See, writing is a weird thing, because you can get into creative writing, but writing is still seen as one of those good professions. You could be a journalist, or you could be a columnist, a blogger, a journalist. You could be a historian. It needs to be a good writer. You could be a historian. So there's a lot of different fields where writing is essential. Writing is essential in all areas. But when you get into creative writing and being like an author or something, that's when you're like, oh, I want to be an author. Someone might say, well, why don't you want to be a journalist? You know, report the news or something, because the news is always happening. It's really hard to get a book deal. It's really hard to write a book. So there's all these sort of negative, like, it's really hard to do this, that, or the other. And it's really unfortunate. I am going to be the kind of person, and when I'm a father, I'm going to encourage my kids to get into the arts, you know, drama and dance. And I mean, could you imagine if you were like, you know, you said, oh, hey, mom, dad, I wanna go to school for dance, and they might just, what the fuck? They're like, why we are gonna pay your college tuition to go to dance school? You're out of your mind. That's sort of the feeling that you more than likely would get, unless you've really supportive parents. But I want to be that kind of parent. I want to support the arts. I want to support just creative avenues, because we need those creative avenues. And going back on YouTube, it's really fascinating, at least from my standpoint, is that YouTube is presenting an outlet for people, and just the internet in general is presenting this outlet for people to go on and be creative and have their work seen. And in the case of YouTube, because I don't know of any other networking sites where people become, you know, famous for what they're doing. YouTube is a place where people are not, they're jumping off the computer screen onto the small screen, onto TV and stuff. And I'm not sure if anyone has made that leap from YouTube to the big screen of films and movies. I'm not sure. Maybe there is a couple of people out there who have. Oh wait, what was that guy's name? He had that really annoying character. Is it Freddy? Anyways, that guy. That's right. They made a movie. Nickelodeon picked that guy up. He was like the first guy that I remember seeing who became really popular on YouTube, and then found his way into mainstream media. It became sort of this mainstream cultural thing. And I see that now with other musicians. I see musicians and actors and filmmakers. They're starting to branch off of the internet and make their way into the larger media, the media at large, the bigger one. And I think that's awesome. And I think it's great. And so, like I was saying, I think I want to encourage people to be creative. This, what I'm doing, could be considered creative. I mean, I'm just sitting here. It's more of a vlog type-esque sort of a deal, the commentaries. But in a sense, it has to be creative to a certain point. But it's not as creative as creating something from scratch. You know, like a good example, maybe a better example of this is when I'm doing my paint schemes for iRacing. That's a really creative thing, because I'm creating something from nothing. You know, I've got this idea. I'm like, I want to make a Pepsi car, so I make a Pepsi. Or would I make a Coke car recently? You know, I made a Coca-Cola car, and you know, I'm using digital media to do that, and it's a lot of fun. And those things are stimulating, and the arts stimulate your brain. They stimulate your imagination, and that's really what it's about. And that's why I really like it, because we need people to be creative, outside the box thinkers. Because one day, if you've got this creative person, or you just have maybe someone who's not, say, in the arts per se. I mean, like, they're a really creative person. They hone their creativity. They have this outside the box thinking, and they can take that outside the box thinking into whatever their chosen profession is. So say they are in law, or I don't know, government, or whatever. The government, like being in the government, it's like one of those, like, you know, why would anyone want to do that? But we would need those creative people to look for different solutions to, you know, long-standing problems. You know, this sort of method has been used over and over again to try to solve X problem, and someone comes in and looks at it from a different angle, a very creative angle, and goes, well, we could do it this way, and suddenly you're getting some stuff done. That's not necessarily art, but it came from a creative mind, and we need that. We need people to be creative. We need people to think outside the box. Otherwise, we'll just become mentally stagnant, and that's bad. I think that's terrible. So anyways, I want to know what you guys think about this whole idea of making sure that we retain the arts, and we retain and we allow people to be creative. Like I said, it's wonderful that we do have avenues for creativity, such as YouTube or blogging, or like Flickr, or any of these other places where you can just go on and show off your work and be creative. Yeah, I think that's wonderful. So anyways, guys, sorry it's been a long time since I posted a video. It's just school's been really busy, and I do want to do a commentary about school, but every time I get into it, it gets really boring because it's like it's so long. It's so hard to talk about what it is that I'm doing without having to do like this backstory of what it was like to be an undergraduate before I could tell you what it's like to be a graduate student. But maybe one of these days I'll get around to it. Maybe not like a podcast. Wow, podcast-esque sort of discussion. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I shall talk to you guys later.
Wow, seriously? I swear to God, our teammates are a bunch of lepers. Can't stop scratching their own skin. There's a guy over here. Yeah, I'm not gonna tempt fate. Crazy Ron is crazy. No! Fuck you! God, that was a beast! What did you just do?
It should have been a 6-man, but I think it was only 5.
What were you pussy?
I know. I am the noob.
Oh, nope, nope. There it is.
Got you, fucker.
Alright, I was wondering when I was gonna
Oh,
get killed.
where the fuck did you come from?
Ah, fuck, Crazy Ron got me again. What did I get? Yeah. Got all the attachments that I wanted.
Nice.
Didn't even get a chance to use them. Using the iron sights the whole damn time. Oh, fuck you! Fuck you so hard!
Ah, yeah.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
I feel so good.
I killed one more guy and died one last time. Son of a bitch.